Hello and welcome back. In the previous video, I gave an introduction to this chapter called Haloalkanes and Haloarenes. I talked about several ways of classifying them, the nomenclature, and I also touched upon the nature of this carbon halogen bond. In this video, we will look into some methods of preparing them. So the first source we have is alcohols. Then we will take hydrocarbons and prepare these compounds by various reactions. Then we will see a special technique called halogen exchange to prepare fluorides and iodides specifically. So let's get started. Let's prepare them using alcohols. I take an alcohol ROH and add it to HCl in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, which is called as Lucas reagent, and I get RCl along with water. I can make it react with NaBr in presence of sulfuric acid to get an alkyl bromide. Another reagent that we have is phosphorus trihalide, where the halogen can be either chlorine or bromine, and I get 3 moles of alkyl halide and H3PO3. We can also take phosphorus pentachloride to get the corresponding alkyl chloride along with POCl3 and HCl. Okay, let's look into one more reagent, that is red phosphorus in presence of the halogen gas itself. Here the halogen is bromine or iodine. We again get 3 moles of OX and H3PO3. Last but not the least and most important method is SOCl2 in the presence of pyridine. We get alkyl chloride with some byproducts. Do you notice something interesting in the byproducts in this case? Let's look into it in the next slide. So we observed that we had SO2 and HCl as a byproducts. We also saw that there was an up arrow written, that means they are gases. So since the byproducts are escapable gases, this method of SOCl2 plus pyridine gives pure alkyl halides and is more preferred than rest of the reactions. The reactions of primary and secondary alcohols with HCl require the presence of a catalyst called ZnCl2, while the tertiary alcohols, which we didn't see, actually does not require ZnCl2 and will undergo the similar reaction with concentrated HCl alone at room temperature. Good yields of Ri may be obtained by heating alcohols with sodium or potassium iodide in 95% of orthophosphoric acid. So those were some facts. Let's look into some interesting things here. The order of reactivity of alcohols with the given halo acid follows the order tertiary highest followed by secondary then primary. And a very important note is that the above methods are not applicable for preparation of aryl halides because in phenol we have a OC bond, and due to partial double bond character due to resonance, this bond is difficult to break, which we have seen in unit 11 of class 11. So that was about preparation via alcohols. Next, preparation to hydrocarbons. The first one we have is by free radical halogenation. Free radical halogenation of alkanes gives a complex mixture of isomeric mono and polyhaloalkanes, which is difficult to separate as pure compounds. So this means the yield of any one specific compound which we need is low. We have again seen this in unit 13 of class 11. So for example, I have taken propane and made it react with Cl2 in presence of light and heat. The monochlorinated products that I get are 1 chloropropane and 2 chloropropane. In fact, you can also get di, tri or polysubstituted chloroalkanes for that matter. Another point to note here is that you can get all possible positional isomers of these compounds, that is, you shift Cl in all possible positions possible. Next, we will look into preparation via electrophilic substitution. And these methods are specific for aryl chlorides and bromides, which can be prepared by treating the respective aryds with chlorine and bromine respectively in the presence of a Lewis acid catalyst like iron chloride or aluminum trichloride. For example, I take toluene, make it react with iron in presence of X2 in dark. I get ortho-halotoluene and para-halotoluene. The ortho and para isomers can easily be separated because of the large difference in the melting point. Reactions with iodine are reversible in nature and require the presence of an oxidizing agent like HNO3 to oxidize the HI formed during iodination. Further, fluorocompounds are not prepared by this method because of high reactivity of fluorine. So that's about electrophilic substitution. Now let's look into another important method called Sandmeyer's reaction. This method requires primary aromatic amine as source. We take this primary aromatic amine first, dissolve it or suspend it in a cold aqueous mineral acid like HNO2 and then treat it with sodium nitrate. We get a compound called diazonium salt. So here is an primary amine. We treat it with NaNO2 and HX in 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. We get this compound that is called benzene diazonium halide, that is C6H5N2 plus X minus. So mixing the solution of freshly prepared diazonium salt with cuprous chloride or cuprous bromide results in the replacement of diazonium group by Cl or Br. So this is the diazonium salt that we have prepared in the previous reaction. I make it react with Cu2x2, the X is either Cl or bromine, and I get the corresponding aryl halide. So this is all about Sandmeyer's reaction. Before concluding, let's look into some facts. The replacement of diazonium salt by iodine does not require the presence of cuprous halide and is done simply by shaking the diazonium salt with potassium iodide. For example, like this. Next, we will look into alkenes and first addition of hydrogen halide. An alkene is converted to corresponding alkyl halide by reaction with hydrogen chloride, hydrogen bromide or hydrogen iodide. For example, I take propanene, make it react with hydrogen iodide. I get 1 iodo-propane and 2 iodo-propane. We have seen Markovnikov addition rule in unit 13 of class 11. So according to this rule, only one of them is a major product and that is the 2-iodopropane. Next, we can also prepare haloalkane from alkenes by addition of X2 directly. Addition of Br2 in CCl4 to an alkene resulting in discharge of reddish brown color of bromine constitutes an important method for detection of double bond in a molecule. The addition results in synthesis of vicinal dibromides which are colorless. This method is actually used as a test for presence of double bond. So I take ethene and treat it with bromine in presence of CCl4 solvent. I get 1,2 dibromoethane, that is also called as vicinal dibromoethane. So we have come to the end of preparation via hydrocarbons. Next in line is halogen exchange, that's the last method. And first among them is Finkelstein reaction, that is specific for preparation of alkyl iodides, which are prepared by treating alkyl chlorides or alkyl bromides with sodium iodide in diacetone. I will talk about the use of diacetone in a minute. and this is called Finkelstein reaction, and then we have the reaction over here. And notice that we have a byproduct here that is called sodium halide, that's a salt. So this NaCl or NaBr thus formed is precipitated by dry acetone. That's why we use dry acetone and we get pure alkyl iodide either. So next is Schwarz reaction. It is specific for preparation of alkyl fluids and it's the best method to prepare alkyl fluids either. And this is done by again taking alkyl chloride or bromide in presence of metallic fluids such as AgF, Hg2F2, etc. And this reaction is called Schwarz reaction. For example, I take methyl bromide and treat it with AgF. I get fluoromethane with AgBr salt. So let's solve some questions now. So first we have these two questions. Please feel free to pause the video if required. Okay, let me solve it now. The first one, notice the peroxide. We get an anti-Markovnikov product that we have seen in last class. I mean the last year. And in the second question, it's an alkyl group. Notice that though it has a ring, it is not an aromatic ring. So we get normal replacement of OH group with chlorine and we get a chlorocyclohexane. And two more questions. Let's look into the solution. So first one, both the OH groups gets replaced actually, and in the second case it's a normal alkene addition and HBr gives an Markovnikov addition, so we get Br like that. Hope these questions are clear to you. And we have another set of questions, that is, identify all the possible monochlorostructural isomers expected to be formed on free radical monochlorination of the given compound. Take some 10 seconds. You can pause the video if you want to do so. I'll continue after that. Okay, let's look into the solution. So I got a compound again and I notice that chlorine can get attached to any of these positions. The last two positions that I have marked star are equivalent. This means we have four possible isomers, which I will draw now. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So yeah, we have four possible isomers. So with this we have reached the end of this video where we looked into some basic methods of preparing haloalkanes and haloarenes, starting with alcohols, then hydrocarbons, and an important technique called halogen exchange, which is widely used for preparing fluoro and iodoalkanes. The next video, I would like to talk about the physical properties of these haloalkanes and haloarenes, followed by some widely used polyhalogen compounds in daily lives.